everyone, it's Leanne. Welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. I'm really excited to share this video today because this is a new style of card that Lawn Fawn has out now using a set of coordinating dies. And so this is the card I made for my nephew. So I'm going to show you the supplies I used to make this card. So this is the kit that makes that card style. So this is called Center Picture Window Card from Lawn Fawn. And then I also have the add-on, so this is called Center Picture Window Card Add-on, and so it gives a few more embellishments to that base set. I'm going to use my grass borders as well, also from Lawn Fawn, and this is the stamp set I'm using. So this is called Rawrsome, and it's super cute. It's a Dino stamp set, and I have the coordinating dies. I really like all the little dinosaurs, and I think my nephew will just adore this card. I also have some of the Lawn Fawn inking cubes, and so this works with alcohol-based inks like COPICs. So I will be using those in the project. And then I have Spiffy Speckles. This is one of the new papers for this season. I really like all the colors. They're very bright and summery. And then I'm also going to use this cardstock. This is from Michaels, and then this is an open stock piece as well from Michaels from their Recollections collection. And then I have some media paper as well. So let's get started, and I'll walk through every bit of the supplies as well. So I'm going to use some distress inks for the coloring, for the blending of that background where the volcano is going to be. So I'll put all of the colors that I use in the description below and links to any products you're interested in. So first I need to use that large piece to cut out the base of my card. So this is making the bones, I guess, of the structure. Those two elements. So this is the main base of the card. So I'm going to set this up to run through my Sizzix Big Kick machine so I can get that popped out. Now this paper I'm using, I mentioned, is from Michaels from their Recollections collection. And so it comes in a package of 5 different blues. And I will link the name, or at least I'll put the name down below so you can see what that is. So it's a medium weight cardstock. It's not too heavy, but because there's so many layers to this card, I feel like using a lighter cardstock is not a bad idea. So I have the center section, which is the piece I'm holding now, that smaller piece. And then this is the base of the card. So I'm going to fold this. And when you punch these out with your Sizzix machine, they already come with the die lines included. So there's almost like a natural fold that you can do. It's super easy to fold these into the exact shape that you need. Now with that center piece, that's going to be my window piece, that center. So I need to pop out the window of it so you can see the inside of the card. And so there's a bar across the middle of this oval, and you want to match that to the bend or the fold mark on that base piece of paper. So I run that through my Sizzix machine as well, and then I'm just going to fold those edges, and that is pre-folded as well, so it's super easy. And these are the tabs that I will need to attach to that base of the card. So this is a look at the overall structure of how it's starting to come together. You can kind of get an idea of what that's going to look like when it's all glued together. And so I'm just testing out the sizing. The thing with that picture window is the folded edge will reach to the edge of the card base when it's closed. So that's an easy way to tell how to position it. When you're taping the little tabs to the center of the backgrounds, it's a little bit unnerving to know exactly where to put them all, but you can use that as a guideline for sure, using that edge. And I'll go through that again as I build out the card. So now I've marked off the amount of paper I'm going to need to make my blended background. Once I make my background, then I'm going to come back and pop that out with the correct die. So I'm starting with the Squeeze Lemonade as my base. And this is on mixed media cardstock. Now this is pretty heavy as a cardstock, but I really wanted to get a nice blend, and mixed media paper works the best with distress inks. So this is going to be the bottom of my skyline, and then I'm going to come in with some carved pumpkin next. So I really want to just gradiate this into darker colors from lighter colors. And so I'm just doing my blending. And I'll go over this again with my Squeeze Lemonade just to blend those colors and make sure that they're nice and smooth and gradiated and you don't see any hard edges. Now I think too, with the creation of this card, my intention was to do something really dramatic inside the picture window. I find these cards look the best when there's a visual contrast between the outside of the card and the inside of the card, or the inside of that window. So I felt by doing this lava volcano-y look, this fiery sky, that it would be a nice contrast with the blue of the outside edges of the card, and kind of just really give it a more dramatic look overall. So here I've added candied apple, and then I'm coming in with wilted violet on top. And so I'm just blending those together, getting the edges really smooth, and just getting that sky all set up so it really does look like fire coming out of that volcano. So I really like the addition of the purple at the top, and I only have a little bit of that, just a hint of it showing through. But it'll be a nice enough amount to tie in that blue from the main part of the card. So now I'm going to cut out the background. I've used the die and run it through my Sizzix Big Kick machine. And so here I have that background prepared. And so that's going to sit in behind that picture window, and it's made to the same size. If you're doing a background like this, you just need to pop off the tabs. Because this is sitting in the back part of the card, you don't need to use those tabs to elevate it to make it 3D or pop up. I'm just going to stick this right to the background of that card. So I can take off the tabs and it'll fit underneath the picture window frame. So I'm going to tape this down with some just two-way tape, and just finding the bend in the card and trying to get it as snug into that bend as possible, into that fold. I'm going to do one side first, and then once it's in place, then I'll do the other side. And at that point, it's super easy to get it straight because it's already pretty much positioned in the card. So here's the beginning of my card. I'm really excited. It's coming along really good. And I'm super excited for a first card. So now I'm kind of playing with those tabs and checking out the position again. And it is to the folded edge, or the folded edge is to the edge of the card. It seems to fit the best. Now these pieces are used to put in the background behind the picture window so that you can put elements on top of them. You can use them to hold elements in different layers. So I want to make these match my background. I want to kind of disguise them into that background when they're behind the picture window. So I'm going to use a couple more of the same distress inks from that other background blend that I did previously. And I'm just going to do the two because these are going to sit towards the bottom of the picture window frame. So I don't need to use all 4 distress ink colors. So I'm just going to take that squeezed lemonade and that carved pumpkin and blend those together. So now I did the carved pumpkin in the middle and did the lemonade color, the squeezed lemonade on top and bottom so that I could pop out both sides of the, or use both sides of that blend to pop out both of my background pieces. So now I didn't let my distress ink dry, and I was having a little bit of trouble having it stick. So what I did is I just came in with some masking tape, which is a little bit more sticky than just the Post-it tape, just to hold that in place while I run it through my Sizzix machine. So here's those 2 background pieces done. And so when I put these inside the picture window, they will be blending into that background. They won't be so noticeable, but I do want to use them to hold elements from my scene. So little dinosaurs and embellishments. These also have natural fold lines that are embossed into the plates. So I'm just using those to put the folds into the pieces. There's a fold in the center, and there's 2 tabs, one on each side to stick to the background and help it pop up into that 3D look when it's open. Now the skinnier one will go in the back, the one that's taller will go into the most back part of the card, and then the longer, shorter one will go in front. So it almost creates like a hillside almost. And so right now I don't have my picture frame attached to my card, I just have it tucked underneath my background edge. And so now I'm just trying to figure out position. These ones are a little tricky because you can't just put them on the edge of the blended background because they would be too far out. So I just kind of was trying to figure out where I needed to put the tabs. This was a little tricky. And so in the end of it, I figured if I had them at a 90-degree angle when they're open, then that would probably be the best way to get these guys to fit And so when you open the card, they're all opening at the same way, the same amount, so that you don't have one tab that's maybe adhered too close together and it's not opening as far as another tab. So you can see here, I'm just trying to make those all 90-degree angles with the base of the card. And I just figure if I can get those 90-degree angles pretty straight, then they should all kind of be similar, and that should work for this. So I did want to just show you what that looks like. So here's another view of it. And I'm going to stick these down like that. And I'm not going to put them right to the bottom of the card because I do want to have those layers. And then because the picture window is going to cover the little bottom part of the card, I can put these up higher in the background and you still won't see the bottom. So I'm going to use some two-way tape, and I needed to trim that in half, and I'm going to put these on the tabs. And so I'm just going to get these set up so that I can put them back into the background and adhere them when I'm ready. So there's the first two tabs, and they got the two-way tape on them, and then I'm just going to do the other piece exactly the same. They have the same style of tabs, and just getting those ready to put onto the card. And I was so nervous doing this part because I didn't want to mess it up. I really wanted to make sure those angles were perfect. So the way I do this, and the way I saw to do it on the Lawn Fawn instructional video, is to just do one side first. And so I put two-way tape on both sides, but I only peeled the backing off of the right side when you're looking at the piece. So I'm going to stick all of those where I want them on the right side of the background first. And once I get them into position, then I can lay them all down, peel off the backing of the other side, close the card, and they should be symmetrical and adhere exactly in the same position on the other side of the card. So first I'm doing that right side. I'm just getting everything prepared and positioned where I want it. And so I did find it helped to hold the card upside down so I could make sure that the angles would match up for what I needed. And for the second piece, I do want to put it a little higher in the background, but make sure the bottom of it is covered up by the piece in front of it. So now I think I've got these where I need them to go, so I'm just pushing them down into place. And so then the next step would be to lay them all flat and then peel off all the backing and close the card like so, and it will pick up that sticky tape on the other side and make them even. So now I'm going to do my picture window at the same time. And if you're doing these three pieces, you want to put them together at the same time so that they all stick at this, like when you close that card and you pick up the other side, they all stick at the same time. So now I'm lining up the right side edge of this fold with the edge of my card, because when this card is closed, it will exactly match that edge, or it should match that edge. So now that I have this in place, I need to get these lined up in the correct order so they're not overlapping any tape. And then I'm going to peel all the backing off and close the card. That should pick it up symmetrically. So I'm making sure very carefully to hold everything in place, make sure it doesn't slide or slip. When I close that lid or that side of the card, push it down, and then everything is symmetrical and lined up on each side. So that's the way the Lawn Fawn video suggested, and this worked perfect. That once I had those pieces in place in position on that right side, I was able to do this really easily. So now I want to work on my grass pieces. So I'm going to use this cardstock here, or this patterned paper, I guess it is, and pop out some grass borders first. So here, these are just scrap papers I had left laying around. So now that I have the grass tops done, I'm going to use the frames and pop out halfway down just to make grass on my little plates of spots on the card. So on the front of the card, I'm going to have one plate of grass, and then on the inside panels, I'm going to put grass on each side. Now this part's super easy, so I'm just going to tack that down with some two-way tape, some rolly tape. And I really love the thing about this card, those panels, the side panels are so sweet because not only do they help to hold up the card, but it gives you a little spot to write a message. And typically with a common style card, you only see the front and the message is always hidden in the inside. But with a card like this, you can write your message in the inside and you can see the picture and the message at the same time. So when you display them, you get both at the same time, which is really nice. So I'm putting these together. I think if I had to offer one tip, go back and offer a tip, I would recommend writing on your panels before you try to put them on your card. It's really tricky, especially if you're writing on the left side panel and you're right-handed like I am, to write because the picture window gets in the way because it's popping up, it's 3D. So if you can, it's always best, I would say, is just to write on your panels and then attach them at the end. So now I'm getting into my Copic coloring, and I've included all the coloring, but I have sped it up. So if you do want to see it in real time, you can slow it down. You can slow down the playback of the YouTube video in the settings, just if you want to see it a little more slowly. And then I have all of the colors outlined below for each critter piece, each element, and links to all those Copic colors. So if you want to check those out. So I'm doing the volcano, and so the base of the volcano, I colored him more purples and blues, and that's just to keep with the outside colors of the card. So by saying the outside colors, I mean anything outside the background of that picture window. So my card base is blue, it's a cool color. So I have my volcano in a cool color as well, and then the lava, which is pouring over the top, is matching the blended background that I made for the background of the picture window. So that's really just to keep it super dramatic and separated. Now I did stamp out all of the little dinosaurs. I wasn't sure which ones I wanted to use, and I was really not sure which ones would fit best inside the picture window. It's not a full-size card. The footprint of this card is quite small compared to a typical A2 size card, so I wasn't sure what would fit. And so I just decided to color all of the little guys and then just kind of play with them. I'd pop them all out and play with them and try positions and see what I thought worked best. So that meant I got to color them all, which was really fun. And these are all super cute. I really like the stamp set. Sometimes I find it challenging to make cards for boys more than girls. Maybe that's just me, but I thought the stamp set was perfect for my nephew. So as I'm coloring, I'm thinking about just the colors in my card and what kind of colors I want to make the dinosaurs. And so right now I've stuck to cool colors just to keep them matching the outside part of the card. As I mentioned, I really want that center picture window to be very dramatic, and so I don't want anything to contrast with that. I want to keep that focal point on the picture window part. So by doing the dinosaurs in the cool colors, they're more harmonious with the base of the card or the outside panels. Now this dinosaur didn't work out very well. I wanted to do him on the front of the card, and I wanted to do him in yellow because yellow is my favorite color, and I just thought it would be fun to do something that pulled more of the grass color in. And the grass is more of like a yellow-green, and that's on the front panel as well. So I was coloring this dinosaur, and he just looked too pale. He didn't look like a dinosaur would. Dinosaurs are typically portrayed as darker skinned, like dark greens and reds and stuff, and so he just wasn't feeling like a dinosaur. So I tried everything, and I was throwing all these different Copic colors at him and trying to change the blends a little bit with different colors in the shadows, and it just did not work. So I abandoned him, and I eventually came in and created another dinosaur, which I'll show you that coloring too. So this is my second try at that dinosaur. I thought, because we're on the outside of the card, maybe I can use some of that lava color and just add a focal point there, because it's not going to detract from that picture window because it's on the outside, not the inside. And my nephew's favorite color is red, so I thought, a red dinosaur would probably be pretty perfect for him. So I'm just coming in with my red colors, and I thought this just kind of worked better than the yellow, unfortunately. I really do like yellow as a color, but it just wasn't working for my dinosaur. So I had a lot of fun building this little guy up with the different colors. And I did keep those purple spots from the other version because I just thought that was really cute, and it helps pull in that blue of the background as well, that cool color. The funnest part I enjoyed with this was putting the little speckles on the dinosaur when I was done, the little embellishments. And so that I felt just matched better and was a better decision. So now I just have one little dino left, the little Triceratops, and it's so cute. And again, just keeping most cool colors as the base. I did add a little bit of red in there, but just a drop of red. And then just doing all the other colors, mostly in those purples and those blues, those cool colors. So I actually didn't end up using this dinosaur, but I do have it saved. So if there's another project that I'm working on, I can definitely use this later. So now I'm just going to color the party hats that I have stamped out. So just using the very basic colors, using blue, doing a blue stripe, and then alternating with a green stripe on all of the hats. I did all of the hats the same. I didn't want to make it too busy. Keep more of the focal point on the dinosaurs, and then just keep that color palette very basic. And then just using those colors again for the little pom-poms. So I have everything popped out, but I'm going to use that volcano on the front of the picture window. So this piece is included in the die set, and you can use it to put a fold down the middle of a piece that you want to put on the outside of the picture window so that it folds when the picture window is closed. So here's where that will attach, and it has that fold just like the picture window fold does. And so I'm going to add some embellishments to this. I just felt that it didn't look as friendly as I wanted it to. So I just added a mouth and a couple little eyelashes on the eyes with my micron pen. So now I'm going to put some two-way tape on the base of that picture window frame where I can stick this to that fold and just match it up. It's kind of tricky to match up the folded paper to the folded frame when they're both already preset. You want to get it as snug as possible, but not too tight, or it's a delicate balance, but I was able to get that added. So now I'm kind of looking at my dinosaurs and thinking which ones might fit in the picture window. Again, it's kind of smaller. It's not a larger card. So I really wanted to make sure that I could put something in there that would fit that window and not be too big. So I have this old COPIC case and it's made of a hard plastic. So I'm going to trim off just the tab of it. And I'm going to do a little trick with the dinosaur. Because my one dino is a flying dinosaur, I want to put him flying above the volcano inside the picture window. So to do that, I'm going to cut off a little piece of plastic from my COPIC package. And I'm going to adhere my dinosaur to that piece of plastic. And then if I stick the plastic on one of those anchor points in the background, those hillsides that I have, then it should look like my little dino is flying, which is perfect because he's a little bit bigger and he's kind of popping into the picture window anyways, so it can look like he's kind of flying over it and maybe out of it. So I'm just marking where I need to position that piece of plastic, and then I'm just going to put some two-way tape there and then bring the plastic back in. So this plastic is perfect for putting there because it's super thick in this COPIC case ones. I'm just using any craft plastic that you have laying around. You want something that's a little bit thicker so it holds up, so it doesn't flop around or fall over. So then I'm putting some two-way tape on the plastic and I'm going to sneak it back in behind the front hillside. And so I'm just checking it's going to close okay and it's not going to bump into the volcano or hit anything else that it shouldn't. Just to make sure there's enough room for the little dino to fit in that space. So it's looking pretty cute. I'm so excited with that little dino, and he comes up and above the volcano so you see him nice and clearly. So now I got to put his little party hat on. I'm going to use my tweezers from my Cricut machine just to put some pressure on that and squeeze it into place. So now I have my little dino. I'm going to put him right in the corner. He's super cute. And I'll get his party hat on as well. So now I'm just thinking about the position of my front side dinosaur, and I want to put my sentiment here as well on the front. So I just want to figure out the position and how much room I need for that. Now again, these cards aren't full size, so I don't have as much room to work with. So if I have a longer sentiment, you know, and if you're making this style of card as well, you might want to consider breaking it up into 2 lines. These were actually 2 separate stamps anyway, so it worked well for that. So I'm going to put my little Dino on, and then he gets a party hat as well. So now this card's coming together, but it just doesn't feel complete yet. There's a few more embellishments I want to add. So in the set, the main set that you, or the picture add-on, sorry, the picture card add-on that you get, that second set that I showed, it comes with these little clouds. And so I just popped these out of some blending paper, some basic cardstock. And so I thought the clouds in the background looked really awesome with that blue base. So now I'm going to come in with the cilantro ink pad from Lawn Fawn. And I'm going to ink up some little dinosaur footprints. And I'm going to put those in the grass in some spots just to add a little bit of visual texture and interest. But because it's still in the green, if I need to write over it on the panel side, that'll be okay. I won't be taking up or worrying about legibility at this point. So there's a look at my finished card. This card took a lot of thought, more than it did to put together. But I'm really excited. It was my first one doing a picture window version. When I seen this style, I just knew I had to have it. I was so excited. I love this so much. It's so much fun to make these cards. So I hope you guys enjoyed this look at my very first picture window card from the Lawn Fawn die set. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you're notified as I post more videos. Thank you so much for watching.